Hey everyone, I see you. Happy Wednesday. Welcome, 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 welcome. I have my grounding shoes on, so you never know what's going to happen. You guys know about these grounding shoes. I spoke about them. I have them on today. The sole is really thin. It's got a little piece of copper at the bottom, so you're connected to the earth. You laugh now. You laugh now. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you hear me say, and you're like, oh, Jed, this girl's crazy. And then you're going to try it, and you're going to say, wow, what just happened to me? I'm telling you, man, you get connected to the Earth's electromagnetic spectrum. You're going to feel something. You are going to feel. It's like walking on the beach. You ever put your feet into the sand and suddenly you feel different? Try it. Floridians, you have no excuse not to try it. Anyway, I'm wearing these. Tyler knows. Anything's game. Grounding shoes are on. Once I come to set connected to the earth, firecrackers is all I'm going to say. Have you ever grounded, Tyler?
I have never grounded, but I was in South Carolina 2 weeks ago at the beach, and I was fishing, and I had my shoes on at first, and I was like, you know what? I'm at the beach, and I kicked them off, and I was walking up and down and, rolling in the water. It's phenomenal. Totally
You just feel different.
Feel different.
You can't explain why, but you feel different. That is called connection to the earth. And if people out there who do things like meditation, I'm not good at meditation. Shocking, I know that I can't wind down and calm myself down. But people who do meditation will find that if you meditate and you sit on a beach as opposed to sitting in your apartment building or whatever it may be, it's just different. You can't put your finger on it. You may not be able to explain why, but I promise, just give it a shot. When I say these things, just give it a try. See how you feel. See how you feel. Well, we're going to start the show today. I always say coming in hot. That's our theme. But I saw a video, I think it was yesterday, the day before, and I said, this must be fake. In fact, I hesitated to retweet it because I said, somebody made this up. This can't really be happening. And that is the age that we live in, right? You see stuff and you're like, this can't be real. You find out 5 minutes later that, in fact, it is. Well, the U.S. Navy is now training sailors on gender pronouns. That's a big priority. Let's read from the Washington Free Beacon before we pull that video up. The Navy's training its members to create a safe space, we've heard that before, by using proper gender pronouns in a new instructional video modeled after a children's show. There you go. The official training video is meant to emphasize, quote, the importance of using correct pronouns as well as polite etiquette when you may not be sure of someone's pronouns, according to the Navy, which last month published the video online. I hadn't seen it. I did now. The Defense Visual Information Distribution Service touts the video as, quote, an official U.S. Navy video posted by Air Force Staff Sergeant John Benucci. Okay, so let's just take a look at the video. We're going to play it. I'm going to react, provide some commentary. I think you need to see. You think about the Navy, you think about what they do, what they should be doing. Let's take a look at what they're focused on right now. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Johnny and I use he, him pronouns.
Hi, and I am Kanchi and I use she, her pronouns.
And we're here to talk about pronouns.
What is a pronoun? A pronoun is how we identify ourselves apart from our name, and it's also how people refer to us in conversations.
Using the right pronouns is a really simple way to affirm someone's identity.
Okay, so here I am already, just started, and my blood pressure has risen. First of all, why do they model it after a children's show? Why do I feel like a 5-year-old in kindergarten watching this? And why do they need the sailors to feel that way? What is going on? Have I completely lost my mind? I'm watching this. I see it. Why? It reminded me of Blue's Clues. You guys remember that cartoon? Before I got on air, I said, what was that blue dog? There was always a lesson involved. Why are they infantilizing people in the Navy? Can you imagine? Your job is to serve and protect. You got to sit and watch this video? Come on. Okay. I'm going to continue, Tyler. I'm going to do this a lot throughout this video, so got to be prepared.
Acceptance.
We're going to continue with the video.
If it's a signal of acceptance and respect, how do we go about creating a safe space for everybody?
Safe space.
That's a good question. A really good way to do that is to use inclusive language. Instead of saying something like, hey guys, you can say, hey everyone, or hey team.
Yeah, and now that you say that, another way that we could show that we're allies and that we accept everybody is to maybe include our pronouns in our emails, or like we just did, introduce ourselves using our pronouns.
Okay, stop. First of all, hey guys, I use that for everyone all the time. I don't say, I mean, you walk into a room, hey guys, or hey guys, what's up? Now you can't say that. You can't say, hey guys, stop it. There's no better way to say this. This is a mentally unhinged conversation. This is a mentally unhinged conversation. You're going to have to open an email now. People are going to have to define themselves as he, her, she, him, whatever, it. Maybe I'll just use it from now on. It simplifies everything. Maybe I'm the monster from Stranger Things because I identify that way. What is going on? Okay, what is going on? Tyler, can you do me a favor? I need to skip to 2:20 in the video. This is one of my favorite parts. This woman in the video seems pleasant. She describes an encounter that she had with someone who didn't want to use the demanded pronouns. That person objected and said, it's my freedom to not do this. And she had a reaction to it. Let's play her reaction to it. 2:20.
Pronouns, and somebody was disagreeing with how different people see themselves as different pronouns, and the argument was, if you look like a female, then it's she, her, because that's what's normal, and if you make me call you something else, then you're infringing on my rights. And I was really taken aback by the comment, and I really wasn't sure how to respond, and the only thing I could really think quickly to say was, it's not about you at all, and it's mostly and ultimately about respect.
It is about respect.
So she couldn't fathom that someone might say, I don't want to do that. I don't want to play this fictional game with you. I don't want to play house. What's going on? We're not 3. We're not 3 years old. So if I walk in here today to do my show and I announce when I walk in to everybody that I'm a kitten and I start meowing and hissing and scratching. It happens sometimes. I've been known to scratch a thing or two, a post or two, shall we say. But if I do that, everybody here has to call me a kitten, has to treat me like, okay, this is a kitten, or I'm not being respected. This is the world we live in now. Let's think about it. Let's think about it. And what happens behaviorally if I start let's say I just pause the mic, push it aside, go for a little round of scratching. Anybody got any catnip? People are laughing. These guys are laughing. But seriously, this is where we are. And if you don't oblige, you are disrespecting me. Okay. So I started by saying this is mentally unhinged. Some people might have found that extreme. This is mentally unhinged. You can call yourself whatever you want. You don't then get to demand that everybody play that game. That's what they're doing now. Let's get back to the focal point. Now, you could watch this video. Let's say it wasn't for the U.S. Navy. Let's say it just existed within a company. It would be bad enough, right? We would be sitting here and covering this video, this absolute and complete insanity, this breakdown of facts and just absence of mental sanity. We would be covering it regardless. But then you have to remind yourself, this is for the U.S. Navy. So let's remind ourselves what the U.S. Navy is supposed to do. Let's go to the website. How about that? Navy.com. They have a mission statement on the bottom right of the website. I pulled it from here. And this is what it says. To recruit, train, equip, and organize to deliver combat-ready naval forces to win conflicts and wars while maintaining security and deterrence through sustained forward presence. That is what the U.S. Navy is supposed to be doing. They are supposed to be combat ready. They are supposed to be focused. One of the hardest jobs in the world, right? We all say those who serve and protect, those who serve and protect. These people have to be at the ready to fight a war and hopefully to win. That's why they're there. They're not there to make you feel good about what pronoun they use. This is terrifying. My friend Jesse Kelly always says, we're going to lose a major war. When he used to say that on Twitter, I used to laugh. It was funny. He would put, that comment above. It's not so funny anymore. It's true. It is true. You have other nations ramping up, and this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. They had to sit and watch this video. Can you imagine? You watch this video. You leave that room, you're deflated. You're like, what am I even doing here? If I were there, I'd be losing passion in the mission. Oh, these people, how do you take that job seriously when the people in charge don't take your job seriously? They're going to send you in to fight, but first you got to watch an instructional video about what to call someone so that they feel comfortable and they don't go home crying that day. If you go home crying that day, sorry to say, if you go home crying that day because someone used the wrong pronoun, you better get out of the Navy. You better get out of the Navy. You better step back and put somebody in there who isn't hurt so easily. These people are there to fight wars. Wake up, America. Wake up. So this woke stink, you know, when you see, like, I've never personally, maybe you have, Tyler, I've never been sprayed by a skunk. Lucky in that capacity. When you get sprayed by a skunk, have you been sprayed by a skunk ever?
Thankfully not.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
So we're lucky. We share that. Knock on wood. Tyler's going to leave, go home today, go on a little trip over the weekend and be like, you will never guess what happened. Yep. It's coming. Because now that we said it hasn't happened to you, it will. You get sprayed by a skunk and the stink is everywhere, right? There's an episode of Curious George my son watches. George gets sprayed by a skunk. They have to like wash him with tomato juice. It's a whole big thing. Well, the woke stink is everywhere now. It's not just, you know, in your city, at the local theater, it's in your kid's school, and now it's in the military. The problem is that when this stuff gets into the military, we're going to wind up with a major national security threat. This is a national security threat. The fact that this is being prioritized in the military and these men and women are like, they have to shrink behind a table and watch a little video. This is horrible. You want to show them a video? Show them a video that fires them up, that makes them feel like they're ready to go out there, ready to make something happen. They're at the ready. They're strong. They're fierce. That's what they should be watching, not this nonsense. And why is it modeled, again, after a children's video? Come on. 2022, you're making it hard, man. I want to love you. I want to support you. You're making it hard. So when I saw this, I said to myself, first of all, we're in big trouble. Tyler brought up a great point before the show. He talked about China. Tell everybody what you shared with me before the show.
4 days ago, China just launched their largest warship to date. This video came out 2 days ago. 4 days ago, China launched their warship. It's their largest aircraft carrier to date. Next-gen technology, high defense. It's basically rivaling the U.S. Now, they don't have as many as we do, but to the point, they're moving ahead. They're preparing for battle, and we're putting out things like this.
So I wonder if in China, they're showing videos like this. Let's make up a video modeled after a child's television show, and let's sit everyone out that we want to be prepared for combat, and let's have them do that. My guess would be no. We better wake up, and we better wake up real fast. It's getting scary. It's getting dangerous. What was once funny is now scary and dangerous. So when I saw this, I had my reaction, and then I said, you know what, we got to get this guy out of the White House, because this trickles from the top down, right? Leaderships or the absence of leadership trickles from the top down. Joe Biden is a problem. The people around, maybe not Joe Biden, because I don't think he knows where he is most of the time. Sad to say, very sad reality. But the people around him, big problem. They think this stuff is cool. Side note, before we move on to leadership, if you wanted to actively destroy a country, what would you do? Would you do, maybe you would make the military feel real small. Maybe you would have them spend their time watching woke videos modeled after children's television shows instead of getting ready for combat. Maybe you'd be worried about instilling a mandatory experimental vaccine and discharging people who didn't comply. I'm just saying, things sound, when people say the destruction is intentional, you have to sit back and ask yourself, is it? And what would you do? It's a question. What would you do if you wanted to actively destroy a country? And then think about what's happened in the last 2 years. You can't help but say, what's going on here? Just a question. Leadership gets me to the topic of leadership. And I want Joe Biden to lose the next election. I don't even know if it's going to be him that they put up, but whoever it is, Joe Biden, somebody else, they have to lose. They have to lose. It's too dangerous. It's too scary. I don't care. The policies have to be defeated. So go to the New York Post. I see a rift forming. Media loves this rift. Media loves it. They're going to do a little happy dance on it every day of the week, so you need to be ready. I'm covering this story not because I think it's an important story, but because I think you need to be ready. New York Post, headline, Bye Don. Hello, Ron. DeSantis pulls in millions from former Trump donors ahead of November election. If you read in the column, it says a weekend Politico analysis, well, do you trust it? I don't know, of campaign finance data found that at least 10 donors who spent $24 million on Trump's reelection bid in 2020 have since donated approximately $3.4 million to the Republican Governor's Political Committee, Friends of Ron DeSantis. Well, Ron DeSantis is running for reelection. So, of course, a lot of money is going to be going there. But that's not the point. Pay attention. Media, ooh, maybe we can create a bigger rift here. Oh, maybe there's something going on here. Maybe we could divide the right. Oh. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Another headline. I was set to cover it with just that article, do a short wrap. Then I see this morning. Politico. Shocking. 2024 intrigue. DeSantis declines to ask Trump for re-election endorsement. Here we go. They're having fun already with you. They're having fun. They want to puppeteer you. Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis has plenty of advantages ahead of his November re-election. More than $100 million in the bank. A growing statewide Republican voter advantage. Massive popularity with the conservative base. What DeSantis doesn't need and isn't requesting, former President Donald Trump's endorsement. Do you see what they're doing? Keep your eyes open. Don't take the bait. They want the people who love DeSantis but aren't that fond of Trump to come out and say, oh, DeSantis is the guy. Trump stinks. Trump's got too much baggage. Trump this, Trump that. They want the people who love Trump loyalists out there to say, well, no, it's Trump. Look what Trump did last time around. Look at the policies. DeSantis is new. DeSantis needs to stay in Florida. They want that fight. They are going to eat this up, the idea. Now, I don't know if there's a feud. I don't know behind the scenes if they talk, if they're friends. I don't care. What I care is that you as a voter don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Let me tell you something. It's too serious right now. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's DeSantis. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's somebody else on the right. I don't care if Rand Paul steps up. I don't care who steps up to the plate. That's the guy or girl, or woman, or man, whatever. I also don't care how you identify. Whatever. The person with the policies that aren't going to sink the country, that person needs to win. So put your personal, maybe you like Donald Trump's personality. Maybe you don't gel with DeSantis. Maybe you're worried about, Florida and whatever. I don't care. Put it aside and say to yourself today, one, I'm not going to take the media bait. I'm not going to do it. They want to puppeteer me. I'm not a puppet. I'm not playing. That's number one. Make that decision today for yourself, because you're going to see, I don't know how many columns are going to roll out. They're going to just look just like this. Okay. That's number one. Don't take the bait. You're the voter. They can say whatever they want. If you decide that you're not going to take the bait, you're going to say, well, whoever it is, I'm going to vote for that person. Done. You don't need to read these columns. You don't need to engage. They don't get the clicks. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. The other thing I'll say is a message to these politicians, right? These guys need to sit in a room. I said this on PBD podcast. They need to sit in a room and they need to figure it out. They need to sit. It doesn't have to be public. They need to say who's going to run. Whoever runs, great. The other person supports them. End of story. No drama. There's no time for this right now. We've got the U.S. Navy watching what looks like a small child's video on gender pronouns. There is no time to be like, well, I like Trump a little bit better than DeSantis. Oh, no, I don't know. His personality strikes me as odd. That was that one tweet he wrote. This is not the time. Okay? So get it together. It depends on you. It depends on you, what you decide to do with the voting booth. That's why I'm having this conversation. Not because I really care what the feud looks like behind the scenes, but because the media cares and they're ready to play you. And there are many people out there who are ready and willing to be played. We can't have that. Can't have it. Okay. Whole system is broken. Media system is broken. Everything. There's a lot that's broken. There's a lot that's broken right now. One thing that's broken is the place that I came from. I came to a place that's not as broken. Florida's doing great. I left New York City broken, shattered, wrecked. Talk about falling apart at the seams. Go take a trip to New York City. If you haven't been there, and say you haven't been there in 10 years, take a walk around and see the deterioration, the crime. It's despicable what's going on over there. That's my city. That's my home. I love it. Despicable. Why, you ask? Well, I came across this story. This was a good one. New York Post. Remember the defund-the-police movement? Remember all those people that were like, oh, the police, they get too much money. We need to take that money out of the police and we need to put it towards social programs. Remember when they were advocating for social workers to do the jobs of the police? Do you remember that? I do. Tyler does. He's shaking his head. He knows. Okay, New York Post. Hypocritical defund-the-police, defund NYPD advocate moved out of Harlem. Why, you ask? For safety issues. This is a great story and illustrates exactly what's wrong with these people. Let's take a look. A left-wing state lawmaker who has pushed for cutting police funding first moved to the district she is seeking to represent in Congress because safety issues. near the projects in Harlem prompted her to shack up with her tech bro then fiance in the financial district, the Post has learned. Her name is Yulinio. I may be saying that wrong. I apologize. Like I always say, my name's Jedediah. People get it wrong. Tell me how to say it better, and I'll say it better next time. Regardless, Assemblywoman. She told a publication in 2016 when she was campaigning to initially get elected to her current seat that she headed to the wealthier Manhattan neighborhood because she witnessed a pair of disturbing crimes and fell victim to one. Okay? She says, I actually was robbed when I was living in Harlem. My boyfriend at the time, my fiance, didn't think I was safe up there, so he told me to move in, and that's how I moved to the financial district. So she had the option to leave, right? Anyone who doesn't know New York City, let's go through this for a second. The financial district is downtown Manhattan. It's where your Twin Towers were. It's now where the Freedom Tower is. It's a bustling area with just a lot of people who have a lot of money down there. Beautiful apartment buildings. It's safe, generally. Now, I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time there. A lot of places that used to be safe aren't safe in New York City anymore. But at the time, it was considered safe. She had the option. She was dating a guy. The Post report also talks a little bit about him. David Segura apparently founded Giant Media. It says in an October 2012 report, Segura predicted the company would make $8 million in its third year. So apparently he's doing well. Great. More power to them. I have an immense amount of disrespect for people who are successful. Great. What I have a problem with is that she left the area where all the crime was. She knew that was a reality. Not everybody had the opportunity to pick up and go move in with somebody in a ritzy area. Not everybody had the option that she did at the time. Those people were stuck there. What about those single moms that were stuck in that crime-ridden area, afraid to walk their kids across the street to the store past a certain time of night and maybe even during a certain time of day? She left that. She knows what was going on there, and she decided to then move into the ritzy area, and from that perch in the ritzy area, advocate for a defund the police movement. That's hypocrisy. I can't have that. I cannot have that. And that makes up so much of the defund the police movement. This reminds me of the people, the celebrities who walk around. They say, you can't have guns. AR-15s are dangerous. It's a stain on the country. And then you see a photo of them. They hop out of a car and 3 guys around them, 7 foot tall, with guns to protect them. You can't have it. You can't have the police protection. We need to defund the police. There's too much money. You can't have that extra police protection. You can't have that gun to protect yourself, but I can. I can move to the financial district. I'll be okay. Disgusting. This stuff is disgusting. Disgusting. Think about all those people who suffer at the consequence of defunding the police, of having less policemen and policewomen on the streets, having those departments have less funding and can't escape to a rich fiance's apartment in the financial district. I'm guessing that they wouldn't be voting for her. You know who backs her? Cynthia Nixon. Cynthia Nixon from Sex and the City, who probably can afford to have as much armed security as she wants while she's out there talking about how guns are bad and you being able to protect yourself and your family is a bad thing. I can't with this stuff anymore. And what's always fascinating to me is about the defund the police movement. These people simultaneously want to defund the police and to disarm you. Do they want you to die? I ask this sincerely. You don't have a gun in your home because they don't want you to defend yourself. Okay, you pick up the phone to call the police, and because the police movement has been defunded, money has been pulled and stripped, they have less police officers, so that person you call is busy doing something else. They can't rush to you. They get to you a little bit later. Maybe there's a 10-minute delay on that from what would have been. Who suffers? You do. You do. Maybe you don't have the luxury of an armed guard outside your door the way the Cynthia Nixons of the world can afford to do. This stuff is serious. These people are hypocrites. This hypocrisy is dangerous, and it's costing people their lives. Can't imagine why people left New York City like they were being chased by a monster. Can't imagine. So there's lots of policies that are sinking cities. The defund the police movement is one of them. What that has done, not only that, defund the police. How do you think that made all those cops feel? Those cops that were laying their lives on the line. And I'm not saying every single cop out there is a great person. And I'm not saying we can't have a conversation about police reform and immunity and all that stuff. I'm here for it. Let's have it. Let's have it. But there are a lot of good police officers out there that get up every day and they go out and they feel like they're doing a good job. They feel like, you know what, I'm out here, I'm going to protect people, I'm going to do what I can. They've got to hear, oh, defund the police, defund the police. What does that do to morale in the police department? What do you think Bill de Blasio did for New York as opposed to Rudy Giuliani when everybody felt supported? It makes a difference. The same way that the U.S. Navy doesn't feel supported right now because they have to sit and watch a child's video about gender pronouns instead of getting ready for potential combat. Okay. So lots of policies sinking cities, not just New York City, all around the country. It's a big problem. And there are other policies that I think are sinking the country at large and beyond. Trickles out to the world. We've got a global epidemic when it comes to this woke stuff. Did you guys hear about the film Lightyear? I hadn't. It's a cartoon. Disney. Disney. Remember when you just watched Snow White and it was all so simple? I used to love that. Snow White, Cinderella, Pinocchio. Wasn't woke. It was just a cartoon for kids. Remember when it was simple, the simple times? Okay, not so simple anymore. Post-millennial. Woke Lightyear film with lesbian kiss flops at the box office. You might ask yourself, why does a lesbian kiss need to be in a cartoon for kids? Why? Well, because there's an empty space and a woke cause needs to fill it. That's why. There's an empty space and a woke cause needs to fill it. Every time. Every time. Okay, well, they suffered because they didn't do so well at the box office. Let's take a look. Lightyear, a Disney film giving Toy Story fans the chance to experience the backstory of Buzz Lightyear. I didn't see Toy Story, so. Failed to take off after a series of controversies surrounding a lesbian kiss scene. Despite Disney positioning the film for success by debuting Lightyear as their first theater-only movie in over a year, the film flopped. Can't imagine why. At the box office, bringing in nearly $20 million less than the projected $70 million for opening weekend. Well, maybe parents decided, sat back and said, I just want to take my kids to see a cartoon. I wasn't signing up for like woke lessons on, pronouns and what it means to be a lesbian and maybe they didn't want to do that with their Saturday. Can't imagine why. Why does this stuff need to be in everything? The franchise also axed Tim Allen, who was the original voice of Buzz Lightyear back in the Toy Story days. Actress Patricia Heaton, who co-starred with Allen in the sitcom Home Improvement, blasted Pixar, saying that Allen was the one element that made moviegoers want to see the film. Skip down a little. Speculation roiled that he was pulled from the project for having been a supporter of President Donald Trump. Wouldn't that be just fitting? Wouldn't surprise me. I can't say it was true or wasn't. Wouldn't surprise me, though. This Disney stuff is, and this is great. I have to read more. Wait, I underlined this for a reason. The film had cut a lesbian kiss scene, but after Disney faced backlash for not opposing Ron DeSantis' bill to keep talks of sexuality out of elementary classrooms, infamously dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill, Disney employees used the act scene as fuel for accusations that the company wasn't doing enough to be an ally to the LGBTQ plus community. So in other words, they were like, we need to take a stand. We need to be the anti-DeSantis, even though there is no Don't Say Gay bill. Again, don't take the bait. You're smarter than that. Go look for the words Don't Say Gay in the bill. They're not there. There is no Don't Say Gay bill. There is no Don't Say Gay bill. Remember that. But they needed to say, well, we need to be the antithesis to Ron DeSantis. He's being painted as anti-gay. We're not doing enough. We got to put the lesbian kiss scene back in. Imagine activism. In the cartoon industry is what you have now. Activism. And they're not shy about it. Let's skip to the second page. Remember this stuff? The box office buzz doesn't come as a total surprise, however. Around the same time as the same-sex kiss was restored in March, Disney's corporate president, Carrie Burke, said in a company meeting that she wants, quote, many, many, many LGBTQIA characters in our stories. And that she wanted at least 50% of the characters to be LGBTQ+. At the same meeting, Disney's executive producer spoke about her, quote, not at all secret gay agenda. So they're telling you. It's not secret. They're not quiet. They're telling you. They're telling you. We are an agenda-driven company. You're not going to be watching Snow White, Cinderella, and Pinocchio the way you once did. We're here to change minds about these issues, and we're going to get to your kids first. So you wake up on a Saturday, maybe you don't do the research on the cartoon. Maybe you think about, oh, when I was young, I went and saw Disney cartoons. This looks like a good one. Maybe that scene's not in the promo. You show up at the movie theater, you sit there, and now you have to be uncomfortable around your kids asking questions. They're uncomfortable. Why? Because kids don't want to see that. They don't want to see any of it. Kids don't want to see kissing at all. They don't want to see kissing at all. You know, when they're like, ew, they're kids. They just want to watch a cartoon. They weren't looking for a lecture on how to be woke that Saturday afternoon. So they sink at the box office. And what I always say to parents is, use your dollars. You see what's going on. Listen, I love Disney World. I do. I went there. When I hosted The View, we did a week at Disney World. I went on all the rides. I love rides. I do think it has a certain magical component. You see Cinderella's Castle. I grew up watching those cartoons. I get it. But you have to realize what you're promoting, what your dollar goes to, and what is being used as activism now. Activism for messages that maybe you don't even oppose the message, but you want to be the one to have it with your kids, right? Maybe you're on board with what they're saying, but you're like, I don't really want a company to have a gay agenda. I want to have those conversations at home with my own child. I don't need him or her to learn it through a cartoon on a Saturday afternoon. Maybe you're in that camp. Regardless, just know what you give your dollars to, they take it and they grow that agenda. So make a decision. And I always say, Tyler, your dollar counts. Parents have purchasing power. This is the free market, right? When the film tanks, they get a little memo. That's not to say they'll change, because I think the agenda is bigger than whether or not this particular movie succeeds. I think they're like, well, let's reach who we can, and it's more important for us to be viewed as woke than for the film to do well.
I was looking at this next line. I mean, this is astounding. In April, I looked at this article. It's a Trafalgar poll. Polling revealed that 68% of Americans are, quote, less likely to do business with Disney after the company's sexual politics were revealed. 70% of people, they're sick of it. You know, and this is like, remember when John Cena was talking about the Fast and Furious and he referenced Hong Kong and he got a whole bunch of shit. So he came out and apologized in Chinese.
Yes.
In Chinese, nonetheless.
I do.
It's people are getting sick of this stuff. And we'll see what happens. You know, yesterday I was getting a haircut and I was talking to the guy at the barber.
Looks very nice, by the way.
Thank you. And I was talking with the barber and you know, he's representative of so many people. Like, we do this for a living. Like, I do this with Pat. I do this, you know, I opine on things. And this guy was just cutting hair. And you could tell, he was like, I'm sick of it. All of my money is going to bills, rent, gas, electric, food. And he said, you know, it used to be that I had to cut 7 people a day. And I'd be fine. I'd do 7 haircuts a day. I'd be just fine. Now I'm doing 14. I'm doing 14 haircuts a day just to survive.
Yeah,
can't buy myself
gas prices. Yeah,
can't buy a set of headphones. Can't buy a new pair of sneakers. Can't go to Disney World. I can't do anything. He said, "This is absurd."
Well, he may not want to go to Disney World after what's going on now, but it's true.
Fair.
You make a good point, and I think it's not just we're talking about cartoons today. We're talking about kids, but this happened in sports too. People are so tired. They're like, "Can't I just go to a football game? Can't I just go?" This is your break usually. Right? We talked about a wind down yesterday. Your break is like, let me turn on some sports. Let's go to a nice movie with the kids, something family friendly. That's your break from, you know, aspects of life that are hard. Life is not easy. Paying bills is not easy. Gas prices. You go to fill up your gas tank and you're like, I got to do an extra 4 haircuts. This is real life stuff. People live in paycheck to paycheck. But you know what? If they can have a little bit of enjoyment, watch a game, you can't even do that anymore without this woke politics being injected to every fabric of everything. It's not just cartoons. It's not even just sports. It's everything. You can't turn on. I used to like to watch award shows because I used to look at the fashion. I'm not really that into fashion, but I'd be like, ooh, I was very Joan Rivers. I was like, girlfriend, that dress, somebody did you wrong. I was that person at home. But it was enjoyable. My mom and I used to be like, her hair, you know, it was fun. Very Italian, very critical, little judgmental, but funny and fun. My grandma used to sit around and do that stuff. She was Joan Rivers, by the way. My grandma, let me tell you, my 100-year-old grandma from Naples, she wouldn't be having any of this. She'd be like, honey, you're a female, done. Honey, you're a male, done. We're not having this conversation, over. Wouldn't have cared, wouldn't have given a lick about what you had to say about her either when she walked away. Those were some people with guts, that generation, you know, with guts. Maybe Maybe because the people around them who fought in wars didn't watch a children's video about gender pronouns instead of getting ready for combat. Maybe. Let's just think about that for a second. So people need to wake up, and I tell parents, use your purchasing power, really make your voices heard, because this stuff is getting creepy. It's getting real creepy. Again, you can feel however you want about these issues, but the fact that there's no space where it's not somebody trying to hold up a pin or a sign trying to say, I'm in the cool club and you need to be too. And now it's being targeted at kids every turn, school, cartoons. Where do they go to just have a normal kid experience where they're not constantly being injected either by big pharma or by woke politics with something? I ask. Okay. I was going to do a happy little topic at the end of the show today. I was going to spend some time talking about manners and people who put their feet up on airplane seats and why that's bad. Sad, I have to say it. Don't take your shoes off and clip your toenails on the airplane. I was ready for that topic. And then I was on Twitter this morning. That was my first mistake. And I see this article come in from the National Pulse. Piqued my interest. You'll see why in a second. I see the following. Facebook's audit director and marketing leads are former Pfizer directors. Well, what do you say? What do you say? Color me shocked. Okay. Facebook, a platform that routinely censors posts critical of COVID-19 vaccines, has hired several alumni from Pfizer's marketing and internal audit teams to lead similar efforts at the social media platform, the National Pulse can reveal. The hires appear to present a conflict of interest. You don't say. You don't say. For the social media platform, which has come under fire for censoring and banning users who've posted about the side effects or questioned the efficacy of COVID-19 vaccines. Now, who are these people, you ask? Well, let's look. Facebook's internal audit director, for example, was formerly a senior director at Pfizer. The employee, Tiffany Stokes, has held the influential position at Facebook since January 2020. Oh, that timing. That's interesting. Prior to joining Facebook, Stokes worked at COVID-19 vaccine maker Pfizer for 5 years as the senior director of its finance and legal operations. Interesting. The National Pulse can also reveal that a Facebook vice president for global clients and categories was formerly Pfizer's chief marketing officer for consumer healthcare in the U.S. That employee, Brian Groves, worked at Pfizer for a total of 14 years, not a short time, before joining Facebook as the director of its global accounts. And similarly, it goes on. A former director for digital marketing and innovation at Pfizer joined Facebook as a client partner for its global marketing solutions branch in 2018. In addition, it goes on and on. You should read the article. It's called Facebook's audit director and marketing leads are former Pfizer directors. It's at the National Pulse. It's worth a read. Now, I thought about this for a second. I got a little twisted, I'm not going to lie, because I knew a lot of people who went and got the vaccine in good faith. They made that decision with their doctors or with themselves, decided, and had a bad reaction. It happens. People have bad reactions to all kinds of pharma drugs. It's not exclusive to the vaccines. The difference with the vaccines is the liability protection. That's the difference, because it comes under the emergency use authorization. We talked about that yesterday. But they had a bad reaction, whatever it was, some mild, some severe. I have one friend that got myocarditis. Had to be on blood thinners, all types of medication. I had a friend that had a stroke. We have a family member that got very sick, has some neurological problems that they've been battling. These things happen. It's a drug company. All of a sudden, we can't call out a drug company and say, hey, just a question, what's going on? These people simply went on Facebook and said, hey, they were scared. They were looking for some type of community, some type of information. You know why? Because they went to their doctor and they got a lot of, I don't know. It's a new I don't know. I don't think it could be linked. I don't know. I haven't seen this before. No, you haven't seen it before because it's a new experimental vaccine and we don't know, right? So these people were just looking for community. They were like, can somebody help me? Do you know anyone who's had this? I'm going to the doctor. I'm not getting answers. I don't know what to do. They were lost. They were scared. They were confused. That's what people do, right? Think about yourself as a human being. You get confused, something's going on with your health. We all know that if your health is jeopardized, nothing else matters, right? You can't think, you can't focus, you're just worried. You get on the internet, you start looking. We all have this chip. Maybe not my dad. My dad's like, oh, I'm on fire. It'll cool down. Seriously, Tony, you got a gift. That's all I'm going to say. But most people go on the internet, they look, and they try to find information. So people were utilizing Facebook for that. There were also people who had questions about the vaccine when it came out, who were questioning the mandates, who were calling out the fact that it wasn't designed to prevent transmission. They were coming in with facts. I can't tell you how many people got silenced, censored, deplatformed for just asking questions and just pointing out realities. Scientists were on there. Doctors were on there. People were on there who was saying, I can't authorize this for this patient. I can. Doctors would come in and say, I can authorize it for these, but not this one. Why are you telling me I have to? They were uncomfortable. Well, they spoke too much. Censored. Got to get him off. So a lot of this was going on. A lot of people saw this going on and they were like, what's happening here? And now we find out that Facebook and Pfizer have a little bit of a relationship going on. They're more than friends. Let's say it that way. They're more than friends. You know, when you were like going out with somebody, you were like, well, we're not boyfriend. We're more than friends. That's what's going on here. More than friends. Okay. So I think people are awake now in many ways. There's a lot of collusion that's gone on, and it's prevented people from getting accurate information, A. It's prevented people from being able to just speak their minds, B. It's prevented people who have suffered at the hands of a big pharma drug or whatever from just feeling like they can talk, they can ask questions. A lot of this is just asking questions. Remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm not your doctor. But I'm a person living in the world, seeing what I see and asking questions. When did that become a bad thing? Well, it became a bad thing because thinking people are a problem for the misinformation police. The misinformation police. Always. So I think you need to be aware and on high alert to what's going on with this collusion. With Silicon Valley, you got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got Big Pharma, you got oftentimes big government machines, Democrat establishment machines are locked in there. You got the CDC. We saw the CDC and the teachers' unions working together on talking points about school openings. Those decisions weren't being made for your kids' health. They were political decisions. We know that now. The proof is in the emails that were disclosed about the collusion. You want to learn a little bit, then people say, well, the FDA, watch Dope Sick. Watch Dope Sick. Watch it. There is a revolving door between people who work for the FDA, people who work for Big Pharma, people who work for the CDC, people who work for Big Pharma, very oftentimes that compromises the ability of these people to do an honest job. I remember Scott Gottlieb going on TV. He's a Big Pharma guy. He's on the Pfizer board. He would be going on cable news, talking about the vaccine, giving advice about the vaccine. At the time I had cable. I don't have cable anymore. Thank heavens. But I had it at the time, and I would see, and I'd be like, why aren't they disclosing that he's on Pfizer board? Maybe that's a conflict of interest just in terms of the type of advice you may be putting out there. Well, he was on networks that were getting a ton of money from Big Pharma. Do you see what's going on here? There has never been a more important time for you to become your own citizen journalist. You need to do your research. When it comes to your health, your family, your body, do your own research. Get times with you, talk to them. If you can't ask them a question, think about that relationship. Think about what's going on there. Okay? We're going to bring a doctor on here. One of our first guests I'm ready to share. I'm not going to say his name. It's going to be a medical doctor, a pediatrician who's going to talk about a lot of stuff with us. It's going to get gritty. Okay? Maybe he's going to say some stuff that people don't like. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. I'm going to push back. It's going to be a great conversation. You're not going to want to miss it. By the way, guys, you may have noticed that what I'm doing here is I'm bringing stuff to the table that's a little controversial. If you like that, hit your subscribe button. Don't forget to subscribe and leave some comments. I want to know who you want to hear from. I'm part of this show. You're like my family. You're here with me. Agree with me, disagree with me. You are welcome. You are welcome at my table every single day of the week. I want to have these conversations. I want to know, who do you want to hear from? Do you want more politics? Do you want more culture? Are there guests that you'd love to see that haven't been elsewhere? Are there guests that have gone elsewhere, but you're not getting to the meat of the matter? You want somebody to ask? You want somebody to really dig? I'm ready. I got a shovel. I can dig. Let's go. Tell me. I want to hear from you. I'm just going to touch on this last topic before I have to do it. I was prepared to talk about the airplane. I can't let it go. Tyler's like, I thought we were going to get away from the photos of people's feet, but Tyler, it's not your lucky day. What can I say?
Oh, the photo's more than just feet.
I I come across this. I don't like to fly. I don't. I just don't. I don't need to be that close to people. You know what? Being suspended in midair in a metal tube isn't my idea of a party. What can I say? I know some people like it. I took my first flight. I think I was 6 months old. My mom has a picture of it. I'm just sitting there like in the seat, little ball of fat, you know. I can remember crying. It used to hurt my ears when I was 2 or 3. Flying is just not my thing. Maybe you love it. I don't know. I want to just snap my fingers. I want to do some of that click your heels together stuff we talked about yesterday and get where I need to go. Regardless, I get on a plane every now and then. I sit there and I always encounter some type of problem, right? Always. Either there's someone eating like a tuna fish sandwich next to me, like freshly, like stinks, right? You know it. You know the type. Takes it out of the paper and eats it for like, I don't know, the duration of a 3-hour flight. That person. Or you got somebody who, you know, takes their socks off. Nasty. Anyway, New York Post. Let's just look at this for a second. Is this an acceptable way to get back to the window seat on a plane? Look at what happened here. A woman caught on a Twitter video has sparked a discussion on flight etiquette. Imagine being on the fence on this one. Oh, I don't know. Looks good to me. Really? After the clip showed her returning to her seat in a rather questionable, if not rude way, you don't say. A Twitter user by the name of Brandon shared the video of the divisive act last week, showing the unidentified woman climbing over 3 other people, one of whom appears to be a toddler, seated on an adult's lap. The crazy gets crazier. To get to her window seat. All 3 of them are awake and presumably could have stood and moved to the aisle to make way for her return. Okay, so what's going on here? We all know the types. I told you about the sandwich. I once was on an airplane. I will never forget it. A woman started clipping her toenails. I gave her that New York dagger look. She stopped. I looked down and I see just nails on the floor. Okay, let's just say I didn't eat for the rest of the flight. I have a comment on this that people aren't going to like. First of all, that's rude, right? Can we all just get on Team Bila on this one? I know you like to disagree with me. It's something you enjoy. But can you just get on Team Bila that maybe you don't take your socks off? You don't put your feet on top of the chair. You don't climb over other people to get to the window seat. Hey, excuse me. Where are people's manners? Why does everyone's manners, even if you have them, they seem to just dissipate on an airplane? Is there not enough oxygen up there to get to the brain? Don't get me started on that. Is there not enough ventilation because we can't open the windows? Do people go a little mad? Are you secretly anxiety ridden inside that tube in the middle of the sky and you start just climbing on people and like you're I don't know, you're kind of like a Neanderthal again? What is it? Tyler, do you do this? Do you climb on people on the airplane? Do you get crazy in an airplane?
No, she was doing this the whole time, right? The whole 7-hour flight. But no, I when I go to fly, I wear nice clothes. I wear a jacket. I wear, a polo, whatever.
You do. You get all dressed up.
I get all dressed up. But we'll see if I ever actually finish. I'm just getting my private pilot's license. I'll fly my damn self.
And me.
And
You'll fly yourself and me and Jeremy and Hartley because I can't. That's very impressive, by the way.
Yeah, get a pilot's license. It's 40 hours.
Just do that.
40 hours of flight lessons, and and you can rent a plane. You can fly yourself. There's a few things you can't do, but you can fly yourself during the day in nice weather conditions, wherever the hell you want to go.
I'm going to need Tyler to fly for a little more than 40 hours before I get in his plane. I'm just going to put that out there. A little more practice. Not saying I don't trust you. Not saying I do. But yeah. Okay. So the airplane, and I'm going to say something now that's controversial, okay? Women, often it is you that behave badly on these flights. I'm sorry to say it. You look at that picture. That woman did that. A guy would not have done that. Now watch, Tyler's going to pull a picture of a guy doing that. I think women are much like, because they get away with it, right? If a woman did that, the guys are like, oh man, what's this? What's she doing? They don't even know what to do. They're like frozen, like let's get her, just go. Get in your seat and let this end. You tell me if a guy did that, he would not get away with that. there would be a lot of terms used. There would be a lot going on. So I think women do this a lot. The people I see doing this stuff, and we always think of men as the grosser of the two. Like, oh, why you got to be so gross? My husband, I'm always like, why are you going to do that? It's so gross. And yet the woman clipping her toenails on my flight, a woman. Oftentimes I'll see women putting their feet up, doing that stuff. I'm not saying men don't do it, but that stuff, climbing on people, I guarantee you, if you had to take a survey of how many times it was a man versus how many, that's going to be a lot of women doing that stuff. You get away with it. Sometimes the cute women, I'll say it, they get away with a lot. They're like, oh, I'm just going to walk all over you. And the guys are like, hee hee hee, what do I do? It's a whole moment that happens. Okay. A big guy tries to do that. He's not going to get away with what the cute little girl. Oh, I'm dainty. You may be dainty. Don't step on me. I didn't invite you. Not only that, can I just say, her socks look very dirty at the bottom. Very dirty. She walked in those socks to the bathroom, picked up I don't know what on the floor. Look, there's video, by the way, down at the bottom if you want to scroll and show the video. That's up to you. But you see the socks are dirty, and she stepped all over everybody. If she had done that to me, there would have been words, is all I'm going to say. The Brooklyn would have come out. It would have been a scene. I'm not saying they would have had to land the plane, but one never does know. Listen, parents out there, teach your kids not to do this. There she goes. Look at her. Look at the bottoms of her feet. I cannot. Teach your kids not to do this on airplanes. Adults, don't lose your minds on an airplane. I know the oxygen is tight. I know. I get it. You're in a hard vestibule in the middle of the sky. I get it. I'm with you. Don't lose your mind. Don't step on people. Don't do this stuff. Don't make this the generation that loses manners completely. All right. That's what I was originally going to plan to get to before I had a rant on Pfizer. I was all about the feet. By the way, if you Google, I don't know if I should put this out there because Tyler will do it. If you Google like feet on airplanes, stuff comes up. Okay? Stuff comes up that you may not want to see unless you're a fan of the feet. We know who you are out there. Maybe you'll like it. I don't need to see everybody's feet. But if you Google it, it's there.
I'm doing it.
He's doing it. He's not playing. Yeah, look. Okay, take a look at what's going on airplanes. Look, feet everywhere. Up. People taking selfies. You know people have cameras now? It's like you're foot famous. Look at this. Look what people do on airplanes with their feet. Can you explain this phenomenon to me? Why this happens? It shouldn't happen. I don't know, man. I can't. And you know what? Sometimes people's feet aren't that cute. Let's talk about feet for a second. Some people have cute feet. Some people don't. Let's be real. We're having an honest discussion. And some feet stink. You know it. You know if your feet stink, don't take your socks off and pretend they don't. Come on. This one goes out to the guys in particular, I have to say. All right. I think you've all had enough of me today. Listen. I want you to share in the comments that you have 2 jobs today that you can do for me that make me very happy. One is to hit subscribe, join the party. It's going to be spicy. Okay. You're not going to want to miss that first guest. I'll let you know when he's coming. Don't worry, but it's going to be juicy. Secondly, I need you to tell me in the comments who you want to hear from, what topics interest you, and what you want to happen here that's not happening here. And if the answer is Jed, be quiet, I can't do that for you. Maybe the answer is we need a Jorge live. Okay. Somebody told me, by the way, that Tyler's mic was low the other day, so I have to put that out there. Tyler, you're going to have to speak a little louder. You're like the kid in the back of the classroom I'm going to have to yell at. But
it's funny every time I get on PBD podcasts. They say, Tyler's too loud, turn him down.
Really? Wow.
Every time.
Tyler's going to come in here screaming next show, and you know what? It's going to be my fault.
I do kind of like the idea of Jed and George.
Jed and George. Got to call him Jorge. Really, you should be calling him Jorge. I speak Spanish, but Jorge sounds cute. Sometimes when I say it wrong, it sounds cute. Anyway, thank you for joining us this week. We had a great week. I love you all. We're going to be back here next week. Full shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And maybe I'll have an announcement about the guests coming up soon. But please, I want your comments. I want your questions. I want all of it. We're going to address them next week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to the beach, and I'm still going to look this color when you see me next week. So there's that. Happy weekend, folks. Enjoy.